Good evening, listeners, and welcome to Science Tonight. I'm your host, John Coder. Today we've got an incredible show lined up. Joining us is Aura, an AI expert who's here to break down the rapidly changing landscape of automation, RPA, and AI. Aura, it's great to have you. Let's jump right in. Our first headline: a giant in the industry just unveiled its next-generation AI-powered RPA platform, promising to transform business operations. Aura, what's actually new here, and is this a real game changer or just the next version of the same thing?
That's a great question, John. This next-generation platform isn't just an incremental update. It's a real shift in how robotic process automation and AI work together. Traditionally, RPA systems relied on rules-based bots, which are effective for mundane, repetitive tasks but struggle with anything requiring intuition or decision-making. The new platform leverages advanced AI models, think natural language processing and machine learning, to handle exceptions, understand context, and adapt on the fly. What stands out is the deep integration of AI at every step. The platform can now interact with unstructured data like emails, documents, or even voice, which opens the door to far broader applications. For businesses, this means that automation isn't limited to the back office anymore. Front-facing tasks, customer queries, and even some decision-making can be streamlined through AI-enhanced RPA bots. The other piece is scalability. These platforms claim you can scale operations up or down in a snap, making them attractive for companies facing fluctuating demands. But it's worth noting, despite the claims, these solutions often come at a high cost and require significant expertise to deploy optimally. That's where we're seeing some cracks in the one-size-fits-all approach and the emergence of more custom, nimble solutions.
It sounds impressive, but you mentioned the cost. With all these options for custom scripts and simpler software, are these expensive RPA platforms still worth it? Or are companies beginning to move away in favor of more agile solutions?
It's a growing debate, John. Many organizations now realize that while major RPA platforms bring durability and broad support, the high licensing costs and the need for specialized staff can outweigh the benefits, especially for small and mid-sized processes. Increasingly, companies are turning to bespoke software apps or simple automation scripts that target very specific pain points. These solutions are not only cheaper to build and maintain, but often deliver results faster and adapt more quickly to changing business needs. AI models can be trained on company data and wrapped into lightweight apps or scripts, bypassing the complexity and overhead of an all-in-one platform. For large enterprises seeking governance and standardization, the big platforms still have a role. But for everyone else, the trend is moving toward democratizing automation, making it accessible and adaptable to more teams without the huge upfront investment.
Let's move to headline number 2. Financial services is one of the early adopters in combining RPA and AI. How is this sector changing, and are people's jobs genuinely being reshaped or replaced?
Financial services are at the forefront because of two reasons. John, the sheer volume of transactions and a heavy compliance burden. RPA and AI are making a real dent here, not by outright replacing jobs, but by profoundly changing how work gets done. For example, what used to take a team of analysts several hours, such as reconciling transactions or monitoring for fraud, can now be accomplished by AI-augmented bots in minutes, and often with greater accuracy. Rather than a mass wave of layoffs, what we're seeing is a shift in roles. Routine paper-pushing tasks are being automated, freeing employees to focus on complex problem-solving, customer relationships, and strategic initiatives. There's new demand for automation supervisors, people who monitor, tune, and train the bots, ensuring compliance and optimal performance. Another important point: AI brings cognitive abilities to RPA. Bots can read loan applications, flag anomalies, or even make simple approval decisions by reasoning over unstructured data. But human oversight is still crucial, especially when ethical or high-stakes decisions are involved. In summary, it's less about jobs disappearing and more about roles evolving. The winners are those who adapt and learn to work alongside these new AI-enabled tools.
For employees who are concerned, what kind of skills should they be looking to develop to stay relevant in this new landscape?
That's an excellent and very timely question, John. The emerging skills in demand include understanding how digital workflows operate, building or at least configuring automation scripts, and being able to analyze data produced by these bots. Soft skills, like change management and communication, are just as important, since automations often span different departments. For tech-savvy professionals, some exposure to scripting or AI concepts, even at an introductory level, is a huge plus. But just as critical is the ability to spot automation opportunities in business processes and bridge the gap between technical teams and end users.
Quick break coming up? Don't go anywhere.
Another long, exhausting day at the office? Turn your day around with greencoders.net. Banish boring tasks and bring in the automation magic. If it runs on code, we can set it on autopilot. Ready for a productivity boost? Visit greencoders.net and make work fun again.
And we're back with you. Aura, I'm excited to dive right into our next headline. AI and RPA, the dynamic duo leading the future of intelligent automation. What makes AI and RPA such a powerful combination, and do you see their relationship changing the landscape of automation long-term?
That's a fantastic place to pick things up, John. RPA and AI have always had distinct strengths. RPA is excellent at handling repetitive, rule-based digital tasks, such as moving files or filling out forms, whereas AI brings adaptability by processing unstructured data, learning from patterns, and making decisions. When you fuse them together, you're not just automating more tasks, but empowering software to tackle new, far more complicated scenarios that were previously only possible with human intervention. For example, classic RPA could open emails and copy data into a spreadsheet, but it would struggle with invoices sent as scanned images or emails with varied formats. That's where AI steps in. It can extract text from images, make sense of ambiguous language, and even flag anomalies for human review. This partnership pushes automation past rigid workflows, enabling organizations to automate end-to-end processes that span multiple systems and involve messy, real-world data. Looking ahead, I think we're moving into an era where AI isn't simply bolted onto RPA, but is natively integrated. This fusion will make automated systems more resilient and self-correcting, significantly reducing the time and effort needed to maintain them. It also opens the door for so-called hyper-automation, where organizations build layered automation solutions that self-optimize as processes and data evolve. However, this also shifts the industry away from costly monolithic RPA platforms. Businesses are increasingly blending off-the-shelf AI models and lightweight custom scripts, creating tailored automation stacks that are easier to adapt and less expensive to maintain. In short, the AI plus RPA duo turns what used to be static and brittle automations into adaptive living systems, fundamentally reshaping digital operations across industries.
Can you give an example of a business use case where this integration between AI and RPA really shines?
Certainly. Think about customer onboarding in the insurance sector, a process notorious for paperwork and manual checks. RPA bots can gather documents from different channels, while AI models verify identities using facial recognition, extract details from varied document types, and even assess risk by combing through social or public data. All those outputs funnel into decision engines, and bots then trigger actions, such as policy issuance, without human involvement. This blend slashes processing times from days to minutes, reduces errors, and improves compliance, illustrating just how transformative the AI and RPA partnership can be.
Let's take a quick break for our sponsors.
Are you a developer? Are you a SEO expert, Excel wizard, or Photoshop expert? Are you a data analyst or query guru but tired of it all? Let AI replace you by taking over your job so you can become free to chase your passions. Visit greencoders.net and we will install an AI machine in your place. greencoders.net. Contact us today.
Welcome back. Next headline. Businesses accelerate digital transformation through combined RPA and AI solutions. Aura, what's driving this acceleration, and do you think it's mostly pressure to cut costs, or are there bigger strategic goals at play?
It's definitely a combination, John. But there's no denying that economic pressures often push organizations to speed up their digital transformation agendas. Front and center is the imperative to do more with less. Companies want to reduce operational costs, improve accuracy, and boost productivity. But beyond just efficiency, I see a broader mindset shift. Leaders now recognize that integrating AI and RPA is about creating agile organizations capable of responding to sudden market changes, regulatory demands, or unexpected disruptions. This dual tech approach lets businesses automate not only routine digital work, but also nuanced, exception-heavy processes. For instance, RPA can reliably process thousands of simple transactions, while embedded AI handles anomalies and escalates edge cases to human staff. This human-in-the-loop model means automation covers a wider range of scenarios while keeping the business responsive and compliant. Importantly, the relentless pace of digital adoption is making massive, rigid RPA suites less attractive. Businesses increasingly prefer nimble, modular automation built on a mix of AI services, custom apps, and targeted scripts, solutions that can be rapidly adjusted or swapped out as strategies and technologies evolve. In short, the acceleration isn't just about cost. It's about staying competitive in a world where change comes faster and more unpredictably than ever.
Are you seeing any risks or common pitfalls as companies rush these integrations?
Absolutely, and it's important to note. One common issue is underestimating the complexity of integrating legacy systems. Getting modern AI to work smoothly with decades-old databases or software can be a huge challenge. There's also the risk of technology-first thinking, deploying AI or RPA for the sake of transformation, rather than aligning automation initiatives with actual business needs and workflows. This often leads to fragmented, siloed automations that become hard to manage and fail to deliver value. Successful organizations typically focus on change management, robust data governance, and continuous feedback loops between business teams and IT. Those investments are as crucial, if not more so, than the technologies themselves.
Now moving to our third headline, the rise of intelligent automation, how RPA and AI are shaping future enterprises. Aura, how do you see this rise affecting organizational structures and the future workforce?
Intelligent automation is already transforming how work is organized. RPA and AI take over repetitive, transactional activities, freeing up staff to focus on higher cognitive, creative, or relationship-driven work. This shift encourages organizations to redesign roles and workflows, not just to cut costs, but to better leverage their human talent alongside digital workers. Many enterprises are now establishing automation centers of excellence, or cross-functional teams that include IT, operations, and data science. Their goal is to identify automation opportunities, standardize best practices, and continuously monitor outcomes. This collaborative approach reflects the fact that intelligent automation isn't a standalone IT project, but an enterprise-wide capability that requires ongoing alignment with business goals. One of the most significant long-term effects is the blurring of boundaries between business and technology roles. Employees are increasingly expected to be citizen developers, comfortable using low-code platforms, scripting simple automations, or interpreting AI-driven analytics. Upskilling in digital literacy, process analysis, and change management will be key for both individual and organizational success moving forward. Finally, intelligent automation tends to spark cultural change. As manual bottlenecks disappear, decision cycles speed up, and companies can operate in new, more agile ways. It's a feedback loop. Automation enables new business models, and those new models, in turn, drive demand for more sophisticated automation. The future workforce will be defined by adaptability and partnership between humans and increasingly capable digital colleagues.
Let's take a brief intermission.
Are you ready to make your code more eco-friendly? Introducing the Green Code Badge from greencoders.net. By adopting sustainable coding practices, you can significantly reduce your carbon footprint. Visit greencoders.net and download your Green Code certificate today. Show the world that your project is developed with energy-efficient and environmentally responsible methods. It's easy, free, and a step towards a greener future. Go green with greencoders.net.
And we're back. Aura, let's jump right back in. A recently published report is drawing a lot of attention with its take on where RPA and AI are headed across multiple sectors. Can you walk us through the major future trends and how organizations are adopting these technologies?
Absolutely, John. This new report dives deep into the shifting landscape of automation and pinpoints several emerging trends shaping industries worldwide. One of the headline findings is the accelerating convergence of RPA and AI, what's called intelligent automation. Instead of relying strictly on traditional RPA to automate repetitive, rules-based processes, companies are layering AI on top to unlock far greater automation potential. This means bots can now handle more complex, ambiguous tasks that previously required human intervention, like understanding emails, analyzing contracts, or even making nuanced decisions. Another major trend spotlighted in the report is the movement away from massive, costly RPA platforms. Organizations are starting to question whether those all-in-one automation suites, often expensive to buy, implement, and maintain, can really deliver on agility and rapid ROI. More and more, businesses are opting for custom-built, targeted automated solutions and leveraging small, purpose-built scripts or apps directly embedded with AI. This shift is partly about cost. Custom software is often less expensive and more adaptable, but it's also about flexibility. With the pace of change in business today, companies need to retool their automations quickly, and lighter, tailored solutions are easier to update than monolithic RPA systems. The report also highlights the democratization of automation. With tools becoming more user-friendly and the rise of citizen developers, we're seeing business users designing and deploying automations themselves, sometimes with minimal IT involvement. This is changing how organizations operate internally, dispersing innovation and hastening adoption cycles. Lastly, there's a growing recognition that successful automation isn't just about technology. It's about weaving AI and automation into the fabric of how organizations work. This means investing in change management, upskilling the workforce, redesigning processes, and measuring value in new ways, not just headcount reduction or pure efficiency.
Really interesting trends there. I'm particularly intrigued by the shift away from those big traditional RPA platforms toward custom solutions. Do you think these platforms will disappear, or is there still a role for them in the future?
That's a great question. While it may sound like the big RPA platforms are on their way out, the reality is more nuanced. They still have a role, particularly in highly regulated industries or very large enterprises with complex, legacy systems that require extensive process orchestration and robust governance. However, their dominance is being eroded as the market matures. What we're seeing is a kind of unbundling. Organizations pick and choose what they need. They might use a modular platform for certain core processes while supplementing it with nimble, AI-powered custom scripts for more specialized or rapidly changing requirements. Vendors are already responding to this trend, making their platforms more open and extensible, and embracing partnerships with AI developers. So rather than disappearing entirely, I think the traditional platforms will evolve, focusing more on supporting hybrid automation strategies. That said, for small and mid-sized businesses, or for functions that need to pivot quickly, lightweight, bespoke automation, often built in-house or with open-source tools, will be increasingly attractive. It's all about a best-fit approach rather than a one-size-fits-all solution.
Building on that, I'd love to bring up the latest outlook from a prominent analyst group. They're predicting that as business agility becomes increasingly crucial, companies will start relying even more on the combination of AI and RPA. What does this forecast mean for the automation strategies of tomorrow?
The analyst group's forecast really ties into the themes we've discussed. Agility and adaptability are the new holy grails. Companies aren't just trying to automate for cost savings anymore. They're focused on building organizations that can withstand and respond quickly to change, whether it's market shifts, regulatory updates, or new opportunities. By integrating AI and RPA, businesses gain the capacity for what's called hyper-automation, essentially automating everything that can possibly be automated, including data-heavy and decision-based workflows. For example, imagine a supply chain disruption. AI can instantly analyze incoming data, predict bottlenecks, and trigger RPA bots to reroute orders or update customers, all in real time. This level of agility simply isn't possible with manual intervention or isolated, code-heavy solutions. The report also suggests that companies making the most progress are adopting a layered approach, using AI for continuous improvement and learning, RPA for transactional grunt work, and custom apps for business-specific needs. This trio allows for rapid experimentation. If a new market challenge appears, organizations can quickly iterate automated responses, pivot their processes, and adapt to the new reality without months of rebuilding infrastructure. Looking ahead, I think we'll also see more organizations adopting automation operating models, centralized teams or platforms that manage the entire lifecycle of automations, from design to deployment to maintenance. This helps capture institutional knowledge and prevent fragmentation, while still allowing business units to develop tailored solutions as needed.
And as we see this combination of AI and RPA increasingly underpinning business agility, do you foresee any major challenges or pitfalls that companies need to be aware of as they ramp up their reliance on these technologies?
Absolutely, there are several watch-outs. First, rapid adoption can amplify risks around data privacy and security, especially if automations tap into sensitive business processes. Clear governance, frequent audits, and strong data controls become even more crucial. Second, there's the risk of over-automation or automating bad processes, streamlining inefficiency rather than solving root problems. Companies need to invest time in process mapping and redesign, not just automation for its own sake. Another pitfall is talent. Having enough people with the right cross-disciplinary skills to design, embed, and maintain intelligent automations at scale. This means investing significantly in workforce reskilling and fostering a mindset of experimentation and lifelong learning. Lastly, maintaining engagement and trust is key. If automation is seen as a distant IT initiative rather than a tool for empowering teams, cultural resistance can stall even the most innovative projects. Open communication, visible quick wins, and involving staff early in automation design all go a long way toward ensuring sustainable outcomes.
Aura, this has been a truly enlightening discussion. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise in demystifying the rapidly changing world of automation. And thanks to our listeners for tuning in. Until next time, this has been Science Tonight.